Okay, question 2, June paper 2.1 2018. Write an algorithm to input 1000 numbers. Count how many numbers are positive and how many numbers are zero, then output the results. Use either pseudocode or a flowchart. It's really important to make sure you read the question and you'll get an idea of what steps you need to take to solve it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this part here. So we need to input 1000 numbers. So straight away we can identify that we're going to need a loop that's going to repeat 1000 times, and if we know how many times our loop has to repeat, then we know we can use a for loop. Okay, so we'll start off with our for loop here. So we'll say for count equals 1 to 1000. Okay, within that loop now we need to input some numbers. So the first thing we'll do is we'll put a message on the screen so the user knows what they have to do. So output, enter a number, and then what we'll do is we'll input a variable and we'll call that number. Okay, so we've done this first bit here. Now we need to count how many numbers are positive. Okay, so once a number's been entered, we're going to test it. So we have to make a decision. So that leads us to our if. So if number is greater than 0, then, so we're going to need to count these. We need a variable that's going to keep hold of this number. And what are we counting? We're counting the positive. So we can use posnum, posnums. You could call it positive, positives, wherever you wanted to call it. Equals, and we want to add 1 to it. So posnum equals posnum plus 1. Now, what we need to realize here is that we're trying to add something to posnum. Posnum needs an initial value. It needs to be 0, so we're going to have to declare that at the start. Posnum equals 0. Okay, and this is quite a nice way to solve it. Sometimes it's hard to think of all the variables you'll need at the start, especially in an exam. So as you work through, it wouldn't hurt to, we've created number here. It doesn't need an initial value, but we could just as easily create it at the start and give it an initial value as well. Okay, so we're counting how many are positive. Now we're going to see how many are 0. So we need to make another decision. If number, and this time we're going to put, so that should have been, we're replacing equals with the arrow here, because what we're going to do here is we're going to say if number equals 0, and this is a comparison now, so this is assignment, so we're saying this is going to be assigned to that. This time we're saying, well, the equal sign, we're saying, is this side the same as this side? If it is, then we're going to call, we'll have 0 num equals 0 num plus 1. So we'll add 0 num up here as well. So we've set that one up. Okay, so we're counting those, and then finally we're going to need to output the result. So with our for loop, so we know when the for loop has finished processing what it needs to process, we'll say next count. So there's our first count. We do this, then we add 1 to count, and then we'll keep repeating. And then finally we can output here what we need to output. So output the results. So we need to say output, you have, and then so we do posnum so however many positive numbers there are, and I'll just put positives. You can put positive numbers, and then we'll output. Let's just move that up a little bit. You have 0 num 0s. Okay, and that's the solution. Thank you very much.